It's Griffin Trophy Day at Sha Tin on Sunday in a pre-Christmas feast. 10 races, all of them on the turf. The Griffin Trophy comes up early as well as race number 3 on the card. We've got some Derby trials as well. We've got it all covered here on Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Lejeune, joined in the studio by our former analyst Paul Alley and race caller Brett Davis as well. Brett, in a small field for the Griffin Trophy, but I think we've got a couple of smart horses in there.
Definitely, Andrew. Yeah, it's often a race that has thrown up some smart ones in the past. Luger, a previous winner, and so too Pakistan Star. So both those have gone on to big things. Luger won the Derby and Pakistan Star was runner-up in the Derby to Rapid Dragon and then took 2 Group 1s at the end of last season. Perfect Match and Witness Hunter are the two primarily that will fight it out, but there's some other nice enough types in the race.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit more detail in course. No big jackpots. Got to wait for Boxing Day for that, Paul.
We do, and we've got some real good ones on Boxing Day, so you're going to have to wait till a day later to open your Christmas presents in that regard. But as far as the racing's going, it looks pretty good. A couple of interesting first starters as well, which we obviously haven't seen out on the track yet. A couple from overseas, so looking forward to seeing how they run fresh up here in Hong Kong. Yeah,
and we've got a race midway through the afternoon as well, the Aaron McKinnon coming in from Japan.
Yep, that's right. One of the biggest races in Japan, and between 4 and 5 in Hong Kong, and S1 will be the code.
All right, more on that again later on. But we'll launch straight into Sunday's programme. Meeting number 31 of the season. We're on the A+3 course here for the 10 turf races. Starting off with a Class 5 down the straight, 1,000-metre dash. We've got 2,000-metre dashes. The other one coming up is race number 9. Manful Star. Hood comes off as he drops from the 1,200 down to the 1,000. Blinkers go back on Hong Kong's folks. Visor goes on, keep going. Happy Sounds, a 2-time course and distance winner. Sure Supreme, a quick backup from the all-weather midweek. Trenderful was a beaten favourite last time out. He finished last, in actual fact. That was a Happy Valley over the 1,200. Rugby Diamond, Blinkers come up. First up for the season, first start for Richard Gibson and First Buttes. Blinkers off, visors on. Joe Moreira arrived from barrier 7. Still yet to win in 14 starts, though. Happy Sound and Sure Supreme have been up at Chung Fa, arriving back on the 29th and the 3rd, respectively.
A lot of these we've seen a fair bit of. I guess the most interesting one potentially is Hong Kong Folks. He's now had the 7 starts, but it's the first time he'll go over the straight 1,000. He has shown signs of pace in the past. We know Happy Sound, when he's on a going day, will be right up there with First Butte. Trenderful had excuses last start. He pulled up with some problems, but prior to that, he was in good form. And Rugby Diamond's another speedy animal.
Yes, Manful Star's a horse that we have seen down the straight 1,000 before. The hood will come off him, and his track work suggests he's ready. He's having his second start back in Class 5. He's a winner in Class 4. Here is Hong Kong's folks. As you mentioned, Brett, interesting coming to the straight 1,000. He's been running on the all-weather recently and has trialled well on that surface before as well. Chad Schofield aboard for this gallop. He's fit, very fit horse going into it. And Happy Sound, another one that we do know likes it down the straight 1,000. He's a 2-time winner there, and he does it nice and quietly down the back straight as well.
Like a winter blanket that he's wearing, is it?
It's a bit cooler in the mornings. Yeah, just keep him warm on his walk back. Let's start with, keep going, Happy out there, Manful Star and Paddington. This is behind Multimax.
Well, in the order of that graphic, it's no, no, yes and no for me. Right. Manful Star's the one I'm going to put into the tips. His record over the course and distance, 2 starts for a 2nd and a 3rd. He's been up and down like a yo-yo. That's his form, but he's in good company, isn't he? But I think, you know, the fact that he's now down into this class for just the 2nd time and he's got stats over the course and distance is a big enough tick.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. He's the one I've got in from those 4.
It's the first time he's tried 1,000 metres in Class 5 company. He's been placed in a higher grade in this trip before. First Buttes, the next one we're going to have a look at. So right on at the bottom here, Joe Moreira, possible pound overweight. Keep going again involved.
Yeah, I haven't got Keep Going in again, so that's twice we haven't got him in. But First Butte I have got in. I've got him in the numbers. I just thought that this straight 1,000 might be able to suit this horse. He's been running over Happy Valley. His stamina has been a question mark in the past. He's got cheap speed, so he should get himself to the rail okay. The blinkers will come off, the visor goes on.
Probably have to take unders with Joe on, but he's stuck on slightly better at his last 2. Just back to Keep Going. He did run a reasonable race 2 back at the Valley. And over-raced at his last start. So there may be a little bit of a swing there potentially that could see him finish a bit closer.
All right, Trenderful we'll have a look at now. He was beaten as an odds-on favourite, then won, was favourite again and finished last behind Peace on Earth.
Yep, unacceptable performance. He's had some issues at the end of November as well with both front fetlocks. He is an ageing galloper, an 8-year-old, still racing with plenty of enthusiasm, but these types of gallopers, when they get older, and have had plenty of racing. They're obviously prone to lameness issues more than the younger horses, and that's what obviously happened to him last start. But he's been back to the trials and looked okay.
Yeah, he has been placed over the course and distance before, so 1,000 metres shouldn't hold too many fares for him.
All right. What about Rugby Diamond? I think I retired Rugby Diamond at the end of last season, but he's back again for another crack, and he's got plenty of speed.
Big comeback here for Rugby Diamond. He's changed stables now, though. He was with Tony Millard. He's now moved to Richard Gibson, so he have a stable debut. He was pushed out in this trial. He's very hit and miss, and he's getting old now, so I've left him out.
He's had 3 runs over the straight 1,000, hasn't finished in the first 4. I think if he steps well enough, he'll be up there. But the last 200 metres, you'll be feeling for your ticket, I would probably imagine.
All right, lightweight on his back, Matthew Chaggeride from Barrier 2. First Butte is our favourite for the first ball.
Yeah, and you'll be feeling for your ticket if you've got a Happy Sound there, because I think he'll go straight to the front or be right on the pace. And he's the horse that's got the good stats down the straight 1,000. So with Victor Wong taking that extra 7 off, I think it'll be Catch Me If You Can. Manful Star coming down in this grade. Fierce Butte, another one on pace. I don't want to totally sack Hong Kong's folks, although he's getting close to it. He's been coming down. He's come back to a straight 1,000, so we'll give him a chance on the new course. 4, 1, 11 and 2, but I'll go exotics on the first.
Yeah, I've tipped him as well, Happy Sound. He did win first up, and then it's worth noting that at his next start, he was beaten over a dozen lengths on the all-weather and put in a shocker. It can happen with these Class 5s more often than it does with other higher-rated horses, but Happy Sound, if he steps well, he'll be hard to catch. Manful Star, same 4 as Paul, actually, slightly different order. I'll throw in Hong Kong Folks because I think for me he's had a bit of an issue getting around the bend sometimes. He sort of lost his balance and lost his action a little bit, so the straight run will probably do him some good. And First Butte will be up there, but he'll be probably getting the stitch with about 100 to go, and I'll be happy to take Happy Sound over him.
All right. I got 1, 4 and 11 as well. Any change? I've given Trenderful another chance. Yeah, and I mind a spot as well, but otherwise pretty similar for the first.